Right, we don't have much time left, and I wanted to touch on the positives, the positive visions of the future, and you had some in your book, which I'd love to give you the chance to talk about, and I'd like to throw one back at you. So one of them was what to do with children in year 6 and year 9. Would someone like to, one of you like to start with that one?
Definitely Mick.
Yeah, we haven't got long, have we? So I'll have to be pretty quick on this. Tim, what's the other? I think we should talk about the open school first, Tim.
Well, only to mention the open school because it seems to me that that's a proposal that will bring great help to all teachers, irrespective of where they are.
Can you
and all
describe
children
what
are
it
very.
is?
Yeah, the open school is the equivalent in your mind. Think of the Open University. Think of its formation. I went to Kiel in the 1980s to run their education department and teacher training and research in there. And what I discovered was that because they had summer jobs, the university lecturers, and they became tutors for the Open University, the quality of their materials and their courses have been transformed, because that was the one thing the Open University, well, the many things that the Open University did so well. So what we're proposing is that we should establish an open school not run by the DFE, let us say straight away, probably funded through dumping a substantial sum of money so it could live off the interest, and probably run by a couple of major charities, the Education Endowment Foundation, maybe the Chartered College as well.
So they should teacher training, continuing professional development.
Yeah, and it would be within. I personally think it should be within the Open University. But the open school, if I'm a kid, I belong to your school, your local school that you're teaching in, and I also belong to the open school. And the open school would be a curation of the best materials, the best set of experiences, the best resources, whether produced in the private or the public sector. It would be a sharing of magnificent resources and courses and opportunities. And you, as the teacher that I go to as a pupil, as the person who I relate to, it would be teachers you relate to, who knows and is an open school tutor as well as a teacher in the local school. And so wherever I am in the schooling system, if I'm now baffling you as a teacher, I say, Tim, what you really need is X. And then it will be an opportunity that will be a mix of real-time experience in the local community plus digitally available resources. And you would be checking with me, how you're getting on, what you're doing, and it could be available to parents as well. So it bids to become a revolution in quality and opportunity.
Well,
and that's
Tim,
what we
I'm already there.
That's one of the yeah, well, that's what we think should happen. It isn't a replication of the Oak Academy. Worthy though it is, the Oak Academy is merely the availability, not of the very best, but very good, but trad presentations. It kind of mirrors the school, whereas we don't want to mirror the school. We want to transform what school can be for children. That's my description of the open school, and we passionately believe that should happen. Mick.
So for the last 8 years, I've been working to capture the exceptional maths teaching practice in primary schools that's being eradicated by forcing everyone to follow textbooks. And I ran training on it for several years, but there's no market for it because the schools are saturated with free training that's government and Ofsted approved. So I've free shared it on my YouTube channel. Does that fit? Can I do a quick promo over that? And people can just take it on selection because it's free access.
Yeah,
so I absolutely believe in that vision. And thank you for expanding it. If you get anywhere with it, please make them aware of what I'm doing, because I'd love to have some resource and some support, because I have no way of communicating about what I do. I just kind of do it. And if people find it, that's great.
Right.
Thank you. Mick, do you want to talk about the
2 programs? Yeah, I'll talk. I mean, in the book, we proposed 2 programs to capture the interests and build on the talent of all pupils in the school system. And we think these programs are the sorts of things that could really enliven schooling for children, but also any school or any group of schools, a multi-academy trust, could do the programme themselves, even if it never went further than this. And the first is a universal provision for children in year 6 and year 9. And the second would be offered to a different 20% of all pupils in every secondary school annually, with all pupils therefore included over the period of 5 years. So the first one is called Seeking Talent and Extending Participation Scheme, which, if you do the acronym, comes out as STEPS. And we propose that each pupil should be able to demonstrate their learning through participation in the Seeking Talent Extended Participation Scheme at 2 points in their school career, year 6 going into year 7 as first steps. And the second point would be year 9 as next steps. And each pupil would, with support, design and manage an extended individual project, taking a day a week for at least 20 weeks. And the outcome would be a presentation by the pupil of what they've learned using multimedia approaches, including presenting to an assessor. And the project would be expected to focus on things like the world of work, or the function of democracy, or the structure of communities, or the natural world, or health, and would seek to identify talent wherever it lie within the pupils. And the audience for the presentation would need to be authentic and rely on local businesses, employers, councils, public sector agencies, and so on, to provide the people to take part and contribute positively to each pupil's effort. And every pupil would be supported in devising and arranging their programme, ensuring safety checks are done and things like that, but creating an authentic real-world experience. And we think that we could fund every child with a small budget to give them the experience of managing a project properly, and say at current prices £250 in year 6 or £750 in year 9's version, the next steps version. The other programme which we propose is called, and again it's an acronym, Extraordinary Learners and Exceptional Creative Talent, so ELECT as opposed to SELECT. And we believe that schools try their hardest with pupils to provide a rich curriculum across the broad spectrum of activity. But we think that schools should consider the widest possible experience of children to be important. But the centralised agenda has sort of narrowed every opportunity that children get. And we've given a lot of thought in our book to the consequences of inequality. And we mustn't forget or underestimate those children with exceptional talent. So we have to look for, don't we, the Shakespeare's, Michelangelo's, the Bernard Lees, the Mandelas, or the female versions of genius and talent, Barbara Hepworth, Marie Curie, Jane Austen, you know, Sarah Gilbert, Helen Sharman. We could go on and on and on.
Focus on the child, developing their thinking, and also connecting with their community and creating connections between
absolutely, absolutely.
I love that.
So we think that these children on the ELECT programme would have that opportunity to really get underneath a talent that's starting to emerge at the right point in their school career, so that over 5 years, 20% of children come forward, depending on their maturity and interest. And we're not selecting children for their ability, we're encouraging their talent as it starts to emerge. And that's what we'll be doing.
I love that. We've got about 2 minutes left. Can I throw my vision at you?
Yeah,
go on then.
When children start at school, they learn about their environment and their community. I'd love to see that continue. And then towards the end of primary school, link schools within the UK. So children explore their curriculum and in the context of a contrasting area and create links. Maybe there's some travel if possible. And that would continue over into secondary school. So we'd link communities within the UK by doing that. And then in Key Stage 3, they should look at a European linked community, as we always did with twinning. And then hopefully a global linked community through the Connecting Classrooms programme. So they're locating their curriculum studies in their linked communities, just to give a particular reference point on Earth for that, but also to challenge them to understand their own background better because they're describing it to other people. I think
it's a lovely idea, and I don't think you've gone far enough, because there are significant numbers of children in Britain who are already associated with communities abroad at the age of 4 and 5 and 6 and 7. And I'm all for what you're suggesting, but good schools are already exploiting links with nations overseas in primary school. They're already exploiting links with the school around the corner, the school down the street, the school over the other side of the city, or the school in a different community. What we've got to do is encourage schools to take that further and believe they can do it and not be constrained by the mythology around the curriculum. There is a lot of mythology around the national curriculum. They're not allowed to do this and not allowed to do that. If you read most of the subject discipline descriptions in the national curriculum, they're incredibly vague and incredibly incredibly sort of open-ended without being meaning to be, but they give opportunity for all sorts of exploitation of learning if you've got the nerve to do it. What holds it back is the shadow of Ofsted.
Yes, and SATs and the inappropriate assessment.
No, the SATs lead to the shadow of Ofsted.
Yeah.
And can I just, as it were, summarize this by saying, look, what you described, what Mick's described, we've seen. They're not that.
Yeah, that's right.
It's as usual, just kind of showcasing what we know exists in some places and encouraging people to do it. Because we started our book in a period of huge doubt and disillusion prompted by the Callaghan speech at Ruskin College, which in the end ended up in our present arrangements. And what we think is there's much to learn from that, but we're on the verge of a new age. We've called it one of hope, ambition, and collaborative partnerships. And the hope is essential. None of us must allow ourselves to reinforce a lack of hope. One of the most alarming things in our book was to talk to Javed Khan of Barnardo's, who coined the phrase of his people encountering young people with a poverty of hope. Our book is intended to make sure that poverty of hope is removed and real hope is given with real ambition, and we'll only do that via collaborative partnerships.
Yes, so teachers are empowered to deliver that because it's what they want to do. Thank you so much. I know you need to go to another meeting, so I'm just so grateful to have had your time. I hope this conversation continues.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rebecca, and good luck with it, and thanks for having us.
Thank you, Rebecca.